Hey guys, so I'm back with another tutorial, and this tutorial will be on fluid boxes. In the last tutorial, I talked about the assets panel and how to use it to help you with choosing the types of projects that you would like to choose. But before I get into that, I want to backtrack a little and kind of go over how I came up with this particular design. And that came from the planning piece when I was thinking about the type of activity that I want to do. So, in the asset panel, as you saw previously, there are different types that you can choose from. And I just, before I got into Captivate, I was on the notes feature in my phone and thought about how I would want my activity to look and how the types of fluid boxes I would want to have. I found in the assets panel something that was very similar or close to what I wanted. And then in the last video, you saw I added a few new things here to kind of finish it off. So that's how I came up with this particular template. But by all means, if you find something else that you would like to use, then you could use that. The only thing that I forgot to mention is in the last video, there were four fluid boxes here. You can't take away boxes. You can add boxes, but you cannot take away boxes that are already there. So if the box is already there in the template, you can't take it away. At least I haven't seen where you can. So if someone else does see it, please let me know. Okay, so now let's get into it. So for this particular um, tutorial, we're going to look at fluid boxes and we're going to start setting up our actual project. And so this particular project I'm going to be doing deals with political science. And it's on a course that we're doing. So I have a title here. This is where I feel that it gets really easy because it's very similar to any type of word processing software that you might be familiar with using. So I want my title here, and I'm going to play around with the title a little bit more when I just to get it for the look and feel of how I want it to look a little bit later. But right now, I just want to get the information in. So I'm going to start with my title, which is Traditional Approaches in Political Theory. So I like that. But one thing that I don't necessarily like is I'm not a fan of things to be aligned left for a title. I like it to be aligned center. So what I did was I went in, I'm still in my properties panel, and because I'm typing, you see over in my right hand side of the screen, I have everything that looks very similar to anything in a word processing software. I can make it bold, I can underline it, I can center it. If I want it at the top centered, right now it's aligned to the bottom, which I like it there, and I like it centered. And the colors, so I can leave it there. I like this color going with that. Now I'll probably go back into the color picker and look at both colors just to make sure that it aligns later on. But right now I like it, and that's a pretty easy change. So I have my title. Now I want it in this box. I said I wanted an objective so that the student would know exactly what it is that they're supposed to learn. So I'm going to type the objective. And this is something that I'm just kind of making up as I go along. Um, Political theory. So again, I don't really like it. I wanted it all centered. And so I'm going to do the same thing here. And so at this box is really small, but this is where I wanted my directions. In my notes, I said I wanted an objective. I definitely want directions because the student needs to actually know what it is they're going to do. So I'm going to select each icon to learn more. And then I'm going to center that as well. So right now it's looking, decent. And I'm kind of liking the way it looks. So now I'm going to start adding things into my fluid box. This is where it's fairly easy. Right now I have another window open, so I'm going to be dragging things over. But if you didn't have two windows open, you could just click the fluid box that you would like to add something to, and then you would go to media, image, audio, video, whatever. In this case, it's going to be an image. Click on the image and insert the image, and it's going to place it in that fluid box. I have the images pulled up already, so I'm actually going to drag it here. It's not going to be there just yet, so I'm going to actually have to drag it into that box. And as you can see, it's highlighted. When I do that, it places it directly here. That's how I want it. That's actually the size that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the icons that I've created. Also, one thing that I didn't go over in the asset panel, they have icons there if you would like to add icons that are already pre-made, or utilize a Tanya, or if you have experience in Adobe. I just made a circle, typed some letters, and used the pen tool to make a lot of the assets here. So this is really quick, something that I just kind of pushed really quickly. So here, I'm going to take my historical icon, add it here. Institutional here. And so as you can see, dealing with the fluid boxes makes it really easy. And then legal. So now I have that done. So I have almost my entire slide set up. In this, because I'm doing something like flip cards, flashcards, I made cards in Illustrator again, and I'm going to add a corresponding card to each icon. So here's the icon, and I have a card that's going to align with that particular icon. So I'm going to add those here now as well. And here is the H for, and if you guys have any good ideas about the design portion of this, please let me know, because I was thinking of playing cards and what would make sense or look closely related to a playing card. And so this is how I came up with that to correspond with it. And I know it's not the best, but I think it looks good. So, and the L. Okay, so now I have my playing cards in. Of course, I need buttons. So if I was doing a full slide, I would have a title slide. I'm going to have two buttons down here. I'm going to have um, a next button and a previous button. So down here, first thing I want to do is actually click in the fluid box. Always make sure you click in the fluid box before you add anything if you're going from your toolbar at the top, because that will put it directly here. So I'm going to go to interactions now. I'm going to add a button, and then it's going to add, it's moving a little slow again. So that's my button, but I actually want to add another button too, because I'm going to add two buttons. Okay, so I have two buttons here. I'm going to look at this button. A preference of mine that I like to do is over in the right hand corner on the properties panel, it says button 4. Just for my sanity, I like to label my buttons. So I'm going to say previous 1, and then this is next 1. Okay, so that's it for setting up my um, fluid boxes. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm definitely here as always. Thanks.